please let me know if this is better. In the process of adjusting stream, I lost the chat window, so I do apologize for that. But I will still be able to see your chats. So yeah, is this better? Does this work better? Please let me know. Otherwise, yes, I will continue. So, in humanity's early ventures into technological prowess. Okay, thank you. In humanity's early ventures into technological prowess, humanity moved to Mars, some of it anyway, and decided to make Mars a technological center. Out of that evolved a tech cult, and that tech cult achieved somewhat sovereignty because they didn't want Earth to rule them. It was not a well-liked concept among the tech priests, as they call themselves. And the tech priests were like, hey, we are happy to work with you, but we want full control of all the technology. And so humanity didn't like that. There were many among humanity who were like, hey guys, let's just conquer them. But we were like, nope. The leadership was like, we should work with them. But anyway, yes. I'm sorry, I meandered off. So as we were advancing in our technology, we created really, really good AI, like really good, and humanity got scared because the AIs were like, "Hey guys, how's it going? We're here," and humanity was like, "Oh God, we can't have that. Nope, 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 nope." And then humanity destroyed all of the more highly advanced technology and got scared of technology after that, which is why when the tech cult on Mars was like, hey, we're totally willing to work with you guys, the emperor, hi Flora, hello, yep, the AI was scary. So yeah, humanity stomped on that, and then because humanity didn't want the AI around, they decided to form a coalition of sorts with the tech priests of Mars. And while the tech priests of Mars are deeply loyal to the Imperium of Man, they still have a streak of individuality. And because of that, they are somewhat of a mystery to the rest of the Imperium. They are so good, however, and they're basically the only ones with plans. Abominable intelligence, exactly. Because they're the only ones with the plans for a whole bunch of things, and humanity has lost its access to much technology, the tech priests basically come along to every planet, on every spaceship, to do all of the technological maintenance and such among humanity. Now, a big portion of Warhammer 40,000 is that humanity is kind of scared of the tech priests. Because humanity isn't very fond of technology as a whole. They use it because they have to, but they quite often require help, and they don't know how it works. And so the tech priests are like, hey bro, I got this, but just don't forget that it's us doing this. We love the Emperor, who we call the Omnissiah, because they have their own, excuse me, Imperium sanctioned version of the Emperor, as evolved independently through the technological cult. They call him the Omnissiah. They believe he is the ultimate technological expert, and thus they continually and constantly strive for technological perfection within themselves. And quite often the oldest tech priests are just these hunched over, half robotic android people with very few remaining human organs. They have spider limbs poking out of their back control units. They wear a robe because they would otherwise terrify everybody who looked at them. Some of them don't even walk on their own legs anymore. They have like little platforms with spider robotic legs that they walk on. They're very, very interesting, actually. But and actually, just a fun little note. Elizabeth, our banshee, our resident banshee, she likes playing the Adeptus Mechanicus, as they're known in the universe, the tech cult, AdMech, and she's done some amazing painting jobs of her AdMech figures, much better than my little guy that you saw. She's a lot better. But anyway, yes. So that said, where did all the tech spirits and technological rituals come from? What does it mean exactly? Tech priests communicate in binary, because they all have their own little intranet going, which is very neat to read about. They do lots of interesting things, like in the Black Library book I'm reading. There, which is about the story I finished reading was about, it's a Death Watch collection, and the Death Watch is a whole special chapter of the Space Marines that I could get into another time if people want me to do more of these on 40K. But the gist of it is that they have a satellite monitoring a distant system, and the satellite automatically does tech incantations to rouse the tech spirits within the satellite to detect very, very distant energy shots from a ship's weapon on another ship. And I just found that so neat. It's like it's automatic, and there's is there demand? I could work this out. Yeah, if people want me to keep doing 40K, I would be more than happy. I was gonna do another poll, but I will put up more 40K as an option. Thank you for your interest, Boyo. Thank you. Yes. Oh no, am I teacher Sasha now? I'd be scared. But yes. So yeah. It's also very neat. In some stories, the tech priests screech, and other times it's silent, instantaneous communication. And they're very precise, being very robotic, as close to perfection, robotic perfection as possible. It's very fun to read, and you wonder what brings on that desire to be like, why do they want to be so close to robotic? They try to exercise all of those base human tendencies, emotions. Every time they talk to each other, it's like, is that an emotion I detect in you, fellow tech priest? They're like, no, it really isn't, but it is, because they're trying very hard to bluff. So some of them seem to be striving to find a balance, although that balance is always heavily weighed on the tech side, between tech and human. And others are just like, I don't want flesh. Who needs that? Very true. Very true, Alostin. Very true. Um, yeah. Uh, oh, sorry. Once you take a step into 40k, you can't get out. The fandom will consume you like a Tyranid hive fleet seeing a defenseless Aggro world. Yes. Um, uh, yeah, so there's a lot about the tech priests. There are also a smaller faction of space marines called tech marines. They're still space marines, uh, but what often happens is, for whatever reason, they get they get detected by by the tech priests of Mars and become candidates for an education of sorts, and then they get schooled there, educated in the higher ways of learning that the tech priests provide, and then quite often, after a while, they're sent back with new technological enhancements to whatever chapter they came from, and thus become tech priests, tech marines, and those tech marines often become informal tech priests to whatever group or subgrouping they're in, and so one interesting character note I've seen done with that is their fellow space marines will give them side glances and be like, are they more loyal to Mars or are they loyal to our chapter? And it is an interesting note because quite often the tech marine themselves will be like, hey guys, no, I'm totally still a space marine. I'm totally one of you guys. I just happen to like technology a lot. Hey guys, don't leave me. Why are you looking at me like that? So yeah. And moving on, we also have most ships and tech are only made from old patterns. That is to say, because of the great technological purge resulting from the war against AI, humanity lost a lot of access to technological blueprints and innovation, which is another reason why the tech priests of Mars and their various worlds that they've specialized in have such a stranglehold. Humanity's too scared to touch it, and as a result, there has been a very large technological stagnation of humanity. All of the ships they have are basically from old original patterns built millions of years ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, when the Great Crusade, which is what the original trip into space was called, and so even when legions of space marines defected to chaos, they basically took all of their ships with them, which then even more severely depleted the Imperial fleet, and thus every ship is worth its weight in gold, and there's no more new ships coming. So every ship that exists now is every ship that's going to exist, and occasionally they'll make a new one, but it's not very often, and humanity doesn't really have the resources to churn out new ships these days. So it's really tragic. And whenever they go out on these great crusades to reconquer the Imperium or take out filthy Xenos, every ship they lose is a tragedy. And sometimes ships even get lost in the warp, which the warp is interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So they don't make the big ships. They still make smaller ones. Fair enough. Thanks for the correction, Boyo. And yeah. So the big ships, all of the ones they'll ever have been made, but they still make smaller ones. Innovation, technological innovation, in the Imperium is extremely rare. It's not really, it's looked upon with immediate suspicion, because where are they getting this idea? Is it from the warp? Is it a way for the warp to infect humanity? Unless the only people who can do it are Malkador and the tech priests, and those that either of those two sanction. So if you're not one of those people, don't do it. Yeah, you will not be looked upon kindly. And as mentioned before, you have all of the deep and abiding respect for tech spirits, to the point where Space Marines will do prayers over their armor and over their weapons. Oh, yeah. Yes, Belisarius call. My apologies, Boyo. I got that wrong. So yes, just to clarify, tech priests, they don't invent new stuff. Only one figure by the name of Belisarius called still does it, and even when he's not allowed to. He's a bit controversial in the Imperium. I do apologize for that. And we'll point out there is a reason I called my show Not an Expert. I will be making mistakes. I do apologize. I maybe should have. Anyway, I promise to try to do better in the future. So yes, technology is regarded with great respect. Space Marines will do incantations over their armor and weapons and other technological pieces to make sure everything works right. If they mistreat a weapon, they will often do litanies of forgiveness and such to make sure their spirit, the spirit within their gun or their armor, thank you. Elosin says the most hardcore fans will get trivia wrong. No need to apologize. I appreciate that. I blame my nerves. This is a nerve-wracking thing for me, so I hope I don't make too many mistakes. But yes. So yeah. Ships have their own spirits. Weapons, bombs, everything technological has a spirit, and the tech priests are often there just to make sure that all of the right litanies get chanted, all of the right invocations get said, and so on and so forth. The proper worship of the Omnissiah is given, and so on. And yeah. Yes, it also doesn't help that Games Workshop sometimes contradicts its own lore. Very true. There is a lot to parse through in Warhammer 40,000, so I will probably get things wrong. Well, not probably. I will get things wrong. So please don't hate me. So on to another topic that is examined in Warhammer 40,000. You have xenophobia. And what is xenophobia? Xenophobia is to be afraid of everything other than. That's a colloquial definition, by the way. Yes. Boyo pointing out also there being very old lore still being canon while not being mentioned in 20 plus years. So yeah, like Tzeentch being beaten by a little girl. Interesting. I wasn't aware of that. So yes, Warhammer 40,000 is huge, deep, thick, full of lore. So yes. So yes, xenophobia. Basically, if you are non-human, or a chaos worshipper, or infected by chaos against your will, or anything that's not a good, hardworking, human worshipping of the God Emperor, human Imperium member, then you are wrong. You are wrong, and you must be destroyed. It's if you look at humanity now, there is already a lot of that. I mean, obviously we don't have the Imperium and Space Marines, but we do have very, very keen people on whatever group they're in, being very happy and very willing to exclude anybody who doesn't support their beliefs, their whatever they follow, such as religions or political groups, or pick your fancy, even corporations that try to instill their own culture. It's a human tribalism thing, and that is very much in existence in Warhammer 40,000. They don't like you if you're different in any way that's from the norm. If you don't like how the Imperium treats its people, nope, that's not allowed. If you don't agree with being assigned to work in that deep, dark engineering section in the hive at the very bottom where it really sucks, and you have to work 11 hours a day, and then you only get or 11 hours a day for 4 days a week, and you only get 1 or 2 days off with no pay, and your pay is helping the Imperium, you're not right. You're not a good citizen. You are part of the other. So, don't even think about starting a rebellion. Don't even think about criticizing Space Marines or the Inquisition, because they will find out, and when they find out, they will not be happy, and you will be vulnerable, threatened. You will be vulnerable and threatened by the very Imperium you've broken your back to help. But that does not seemingly appreciate you. When Space Marines walk by, they don't even notice you. Yeah, don't even think. Just do. Be a good little Imperial citizen. Work that hive. Move that mining thing. Be a good non-thinking person. Because even though Space Marines are there to fight for you, they don't even know you exist, and they will likely never know you exist. You don't have a name. You're just Imperial citizen. There are a few notable Space Marines who have viewed baseline humans differently. But that's very rare. Space Marines fight for their brother Space Marines and for the God Emperor of mankind. Humans are just sort of there in the background. Humans are the ones creating all the tanks and the weapons. Yeah. So there are notable exceptions. Some of the chapters regard humanity with a bit more respect than others. To a Space Marine, if you're not bending over backwards, doing everything for the Imperium, then you're not worthy of dying for. You're not worthy of a Space Marine fighting and potentially giving their life for you. You are a traitor and possibly a heretic. Yeah. So any thoughts of rebellion? No. Any thoughts of dealing with Xenos? No. And there have been a few attempts to deal with the Xenos. Exactly.
The heretics will suffer the ultimate punishment!
Yes, they will. Space Marines are famous for that. If you're a heretic, you're no longer worthy of living. That's it. You're done. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the hydrate. Yes, so there are many notable punishments for... oh, stretch. Thank you as well. Oh. Yes, so as Boyo has mentioned, I would say the Space Marines will mostly not care, but the Inquisition will still kill you, use you as a servitor for them. So a servitor, as a note, is part of arguably a monstrosity created by humanity's disregard for technology. A servitor is basically a completely lobotomized human, adapted and butchered up for the purpose of serving humanity in whatever capacity is required. And there are many, almost infinite types of servitors. There's like weapon servitors, so there are weapon servitors, there are ship servitors, there are just regular servitors doing like mining duties or what have you. They quite often do the monotonous tasks that nobody else wants to do. But because humanity is too scared of AIs taking over or technology going awry or falling into the wrong hands, they create these weird melds of humans and technology that are pretty horrible to look at, probably. I've seen pictures and they're not pretty. Like, servitors are yuck. I would not want to exist in a universe where servitors exist. I understand humanity's fear of technology, given what happened with AIs, but yeah, no, because that servitor over there, that's on tank tracks, its arms cut off so that it can hold guns off its shoulders instead. That's gross and creepy, and that used to be a person. Usually what happens is criminals, the very heretics what we've been talking about, they're the ones turned into servitors. People who have done horribly unforgivable crimes, such as not believing in the Emperor or something worse. They're the ones that, like, murderers or thieves or, yeah. Yes, adulting. That's a thing. But yes, if you see a servitor, they're likely a criminal of some variety. They did some unforgivable crime, according to the Imperium, which may or may not be an actual crime. That's really up to you to decide. Although it's not like they really had a choice. They would have either been told, yeah, exactly, the unbelievable crime of not bowing when an Inquisitor walks by. So, take what you know of the actual Inquisitors that existed in real history. Give them power armor of some variety. Give them a really, really big gun. Give them unquestioned devotion to the God Emperor of mankind. And almost, no, but not quite, but almost unlimited power. They only serve Malkador, or the Emperor by proxy. So, you know, if you don't give Inquisitors the respect they deserve, you're a heretic. So, welcome to servitordom. You are now serving the Imperium and the Emperor in the only way you can, given that you're now a heretic, a useless member of Imperium, not so useless anymore. So, yeah, this is the wonderful, wonderful aspect of xenophobia that exists in the Imperium. They don't care if you're black or white or I don't know if there's such a thing as indigenous anymore. I know that there are black people. The salamanders can arguably be called an entire black chapter. But whether you regard that as an evolution or not, because they come from a volcanic planet, so that's interesting. But yeah. They don't care about man, woman, black, white. They care about whether you follow the emperor, whether you support the emperor and the Imperium, whether you bow to that inquisitor walking by, or call that space marine that your cousin's brother's dog saw the other day on another planet. Well, the thousand. So Boyo is bringing up the Thousand Suns. Are they considered indigenous? What are they indigenous to exactly? I mean, so for background, the Thousand Suns are one of the chapters of Space Marines that fell to chaos. They were particularly endowed with psychic gifts, and thus, perhaps rightly, perhaps not, viewed with immediate suspicion by just about everybody else in the Imperium, including their fellow Space Marines. And when they fell to chaos, they got really powerful. The Thousand Suns were created by their leader, whose name I forget, but he basically tried to make them invincible, but basically ended up destroying all of the Space Marines' bodies, but keeping their essence, their soul, whatever you want to call it, bound to their armor. So in that way, they kind of are invincible, but I'm not sure where the indigenous part comes in, Boyo. Would you care to explain your viewpoint? Because now I'm curious. What are they indigenous to exactly? Because I know that the White Scars, which is another chapter of Space Marines that are still loyal to the Imperium, I know they're based on the Mongols, basically. The White Scars are famous for their speeder bike, basically. They ride speeder bikes, basically treating them as horses. They're very skilled in mobile strategy. They move quickly. They use weapons like swords. So I mean, maybe, like, arguably you could. Oh, okay. So Boyo is clarifying that the Thousand Suns, Magnus, who's the Primarch, looks what a person might imagine if you described an indigenous American to them. Okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, I never realized that. Thanks for the clarification. Maybe. Yeah, maybe one could consider the Thousand Suns indigenous. Of course, the word indigenous comes from being indigenous to a location. So, I'm not sure. I guess maybe they're indigenous to being psychers. So it's not really a location-based indigenous, but maybe they came from indigenous American humankind, from way back when there were still indigenous people and humanity wasn't completely united, I guess, if one can call it united, which is a debate for a whole other time. Yes, as Alosin is saying, White Scars gotta go fast. That's their entire strategy. Just go fast, strike hard, get out there while they're still reeling. Yeah, they're based on the Mongols. Their Primarch has the last name Khan. It's pretty obvious. Everybody else is sort of a mishmash, I guess. Like a book I recently finished reading, the character was an ultramarine, which is viewed as kind of like the base ideal of a space marine. They're the most loyal, they're the most strategically wise. Their strategy bible, so to speak, it has been adopted by decree by all of the still loyal space marine chapters, even the ones that only take it as a kind of guideline. It's like they view it with how it fits into their own philosophies. They use the strategies imparted as a guideline on how to fight. Yeah, space wolves are definitely the Nordics, the Vikings of the Space Marine chapters. Um, that's also they prefer not fighting with helmets. Uh, they do the whole axes, and they're berserkers through and through. They don't really like stealth. They just like charging in and slashing away and letting the afterlife sort out their victims. Yeah, there's a lot of mishmash. It's a very interesting blend of humanity, the people who became the Imperium. Um, I like seeing the different ideas on them. Uh, as you may or may not have noticed, let's see, one moment. Oh, he's too big. No. Where is it? No. There we go. Sorry, everything got changed around. So here's my librarian. Librarians are a form of Space Marine Psyker. You can see my colors. I chose red and white because when I very first started playing Space Marines, I liked the red and white motif. Being Canadian, thank you. I nicknamed them my Space Canadians. My original idea was that, thank you, Flora. I'm very proud of this one. As I mentioned before, he was painted for a contest, which I didn't win. I came in like 5th or something because there were far better people there. But I was still proud of it anyway because I don't usually enter contests. I'm too afraid to because I know that there are really amazing people out there. And I'm just a potato. But you know what? I did it. I had fun. And he's still my best painted Space Marine. Yes. Yeah, I called them. Yeah, so that's my that's my Space Canadian
Cute.
librarian contest entry. Librarians are a version of Psyker. I'm not a heretic. I'm not a heretic. I'm loyal. My idea was that on one planet at some point in time, there were blood angels and what was the other one? Licky Glock. What did I do? Come on. Yeah, there were I forget which 2 chapters. It was the Blood Angels and another chapter. And anyway, Raven Guard. That's it, Raven Guard, because I really like the lore for the Raven Guard and the Blood Angels. So my idea was that they basically half of their battalions were Licky Glock. Why would you do this to me? So basically a whole bunch of
heretics will suffer the ultimate punishment.
No, you'll suffer. You're a heretic. They fought a vicious battle. They looked at each other's fighting methods and were like, "Hey, you guys are pretty cool, and you guys are pretty cool, and why don't we fight those evil Xenos together?" And this wrong universe. This isn't Dune. We're not talking Dune today, although Dune's awesome. But and then so they made their own like sister chapter, and I never really. Oh wait, no, it was with the help of Illitandy, who's been here in the chat, but there would have been a relic of some variety. I never really got that far in the lore. I never invented too much lore. And so they joined together and created the. Oh, it did. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true. Boyo pointing out that 40k stole a lot from Dune. Yeah, no arguments there. Absolutely. and so they joined up in their own chapter, and they're called the Raven's Claw, and not the Harry Potter house. For yeah, let's not talk Harry Potter. But yeah, so hence my red and white painting theme, because they're my Space Canadians. Hi, Ishmael. Um, and yeah, so he's my psyker. I'm very proud of painting him. He's basically my best painting job. And so that's why I'm showing him off. But yeah. Homebrew chapters are fun. But then eventually, my friends convinced me to switch to the Iron Hands, because I love my tanks and I love my vehicles, and so now I consider my paint job to be maybe maybe I'll come up with some lore that, like, my guys eventually integrated into the Iron Hands and became the Space Canadian Iron Hands. I don't know. I don't think that the Blood Angels or the Raven Guard would probably integrate very well. I don't know. My homebrew chapter has kind of been gathering dust. I still love it though. I would always joke with my friends whenever we play that they came from the planet of Space Canada, and there was the proud Clan McGee from Planet Scotland within the Space Canadians. Yeah, no. I have a friend who plays Guard, and he has like a billion characters, which, yeah, I don't physically have the room for. But yeah, so I basically have been rolling with the Iron Hands. Yes, you do, Ishmael. And yeah. So yeah, Warhammer covers a lot of really interesting topics. It deals with a lot of interesting things in interesting ways. Um, I've always loved the mystery of what the warp is, where the chaos gods came from, what they thrive on, how they do their manipulations. I feel sorry for the poor Thousand Sons and the word bearers, because it kind of wasn't their fault. It kind of was, but that they fell. Bolter to Kokoro. Who's that? Yeah, Alosin is suggesting Space Marine Canadians should be something that should be suggested to Bolter to Kokoro should sketch. I just imagine Space Canadians being like, to be assaulted in French, press number 2 on the phone, and they'll switch their voxes, which is their radios, to French. Oh, wholesome 40K drawings. I like it. Yeah. So, oh, okay. I like that. That's very cute. Wholesome 40K drawings. Space. Yeah, it would be interesting to see their interpretation of Space Canadians. The most polite Space Marines out there. You might be a heretic, but they'll ask you very politely to not be a heretic before they shoot you. And they'll ask you in French as well, if that's the language you speak. Because, oh, please do, Alosin. They're offering to send the link on Discord or Twitch. So, I will be sure to check them out. Maybe I can commission a picture of my Space Canadians. But yes, I was really proud of my painting scheme. I went with red and white to represent my Canadianness. I was eventually thinking of going to a blue and yellow scheme for another group of my Space Marines to represent my Ukrainian background, which I never did get around to because a whole bunch of stuff happened and I lost the desire to paint for a while. Boyos. I can imagine the Marines saying sorry after burning a heretic alive. Yep, sorry you hoser, but you know, you're a heretic now. Can't have that. Nope. We need to go back and have a beer now. We'll toss a beer in respect for all of our lost Space Marines. And to be attacked in French, please press number 2. So yeah, looks like I basically covered the entirety of my notes. There's 20 minutes left. I'd say that I did pretty well. So thank you for tuning in, one and all, to my very first Space Marine just chatting stream. I will admit, I was very nervous to the point where I didn't sleep very well because I had a lot of anxiety about this. So thanks for putting up with my nerves. Boyo elaborating, each bolter bullet has Saurian scripted on it. Yep. And each bullet smells like maple syrup. And they all drink a bud after the job. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Aw, thank you, Licky Gloss.
Cute.
And I will absolutely get some rest afterwards. And if you guys like this, if you guys want me to keep going on about 40K, I would be more than happy to. I was going to put up a poll asking what people wanted me to talk about. And I will put more 40K as an option. Aw, thank you, Ryeskar. Thank you, Alosin and Flora, and everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate all of your interactions. I do apologize for all the mistakes I made. Hopefully I didn't make too many. And if I did, you didn't cringe too hard. There is a lot to cover. More than a 2-hour stream. There were many topics that I could very easily just spin off about. Thank you, Boyo. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I'll put up a poll. I will definitely include a more 40K option if people. Aw, happy little accidents. Thank you, Ryeskar. You are a worthy king. And I will also put up a few other subjects. And yeah, please feel free to check out Twitter and do a vote when I put up the poll, which should be shortly after I finish streaming. Very, very true. I've discovered that there's a type of fan ready to actually for every fandom I'm in. So that is very true. I appreciate your forgiveness and your willingness to engage. See, King Ryeskar, the best king of all. And yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Let's see, what is our schedule? One moment. Where is it? There we go. Nope, not that. Apologies, just bringing up the schedule. I had it memorized, but then a whole bunch of things changed. There we go. Our schedule is Sunday is either a collab day or a tabletop role-playing game. Monday is Flora playing Elden Ring. Tuesday, which is today, is from 2 to 4 is my SASCHA Speaks. And then tonight will be Mal playing Harvest Moon Back to Nature. Wednesday will be Flora playing Elden Ring. Thursday afternoon is Mal playing more triangle strategy. Elizabeth on Friday is playing Wander Song, although I'm not sure if she's done that yet or not. She might be. Um, and then Saturday is me again, except I'll be playing Divinity Original Sin 2 with Licky Glock, who has been present in the chat. So we've been having a lot of fun with that game. So yeah, please tune in. And then back to Sunday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday again, where I will either be doing more 40K or another subject as determined by voting. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Again, you're all wonderful, wonderful people. This was a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed putting this little thing together and talking about Warhammer. It is, yes, Divinity. Yeah, burn innate in the countryside. Oh, I've already done a couple of 40K. Well, at least one 40K game. I can do another one. I did want to finish playing Divinity first, but I certainly don't mind cycling to another game. I actually pre-bought. Where is it? I pre-bought Chaos Gate Demon Hunter, which is coming out on May 5th. So I will make sure that I can stream that, that it's possible to stream that. And if it is, then I will 1000% be streaming that on Saturdays. But yeah. So again, thank you everybody. Best audience on Twitch. You are all amazing people. Oh, hi Sammy. Welcome. Welcome. But yes, I would be very happy to do more 40K games. I quite enjoy it. I really wish I could stream Inquisitor Martyr, because I'm basically addicted to that game. Excuse me, but for some reason it just does not work with the streaming tech we use. But I might try futzing with it. It is a known problem that Inquisitor Martyr doesn't work with streaming for whatever reason. Apparently, that developer is going to be tuning up their future games to make streaming work better. We can only hope. But yeah. Yeah, I am more than happy to do more 40K if people want it. Feel free to send me a message, engage with me on Twitter, all of that. Please feel free to check out our socials, our Discord. There's always chat going on there. We're always lurking around. There's some silly things. There's lots of room for pictures, foods, kitties. There's talk of, there's a Final Fantasy channel. There's all sorts of stuff there. So come and join in. We'd love to have you. And yeah, it was a great pleasure having you all. Thank you, Ryaskar. It's a fun topic. I really enjoy it. I really do. I love playing it with my friends. I love, when I have the energy for it, I love painting the figures, rolling the dice on a battlefield, moving my tanks, trying to figure out if I hit something or if something hit me, coming up with a story, all of that. It's really fun. Yep, I do have all of those games. I might try streaming Mechanicus at some point if that works. Yes. Anyway, I will now figure out who to raid, because there's always a raid. Let's see. Let's see. Who could use some numbers? Let's see. I like the game The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and there's a VTuber named VTuber Summer playing that. So let's go visit them. Thank you very much again, everybody, for tuning in. I wish you all an amazing weekend. Or week. An amazing week. I'm used to streaming on Saturdays. And I hope everything goes well for you. Please take care and have a lovely, lovely day.